Is Kyrie Irving the answer to the Dallas Mavericks problems? Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Harrison Graham. We have some breaking news here on a Friday. And no, it's not that a trade to Dallas has happened, but Kyrie Irving has requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets, and the Mavericks reportedly are among the teams expected to engage in trade talks with the Brooklyn Nets. Here is Shams Charania talking about the trade request, saying that Kyrie has requested a trade. League sources tell The Athletic and Stadium. The franchise has been informed that Irving prefers to move on ahead of the February 9th trade deadline, or he will leave in free agency in July. Here's Mark Stein as well. He says the Lakers and Mavericks are among the teams Brooklyn is expected to engage in Kyrie Irving trade talks as next Thursday's 3 o'clock p.m. deadline is approaching, league sources say. I got to say, it's very conflicting. I, on this very show a couple months ago, said I wanted nothing to do with Kyrie. I'm still not sure I want anything to do with Kyrie. Here's what I do know. The Mavericks are desperate, and they need a co-star next to Luka Doncic. And as a pure player, not as a teammate, not as a leader, not as with his off the field or off the court shenanigans, Kyrie is a good Robin. He is. He's been a Robin on a championship team with LeBron James before. He's averaging 27 this year, almost 50% from the field. He can shoot the rock. He can play the point. He can play the two guard. I mean, listen, him and Luka could be box office, to quote Stephen A. Smith. But at the same time, I also have said this, and you know what? Let me actually save this thought. I want you guys to get involved first, then I'll get to my next thought. Would you trade for Kyrie Irving? Type T for trade, P for pass, pin comment on today's show, and after the pin comment, I'm going to continue with my thought, T for trade or P for pass. So what my thought is this. If you make this move, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, this is the ultimate all-in move in the era of Luka Doncic in a Dallas Mavericks uniform. If it works, maybe you're a title contender for a few years, and Luka plays his entire career in Dallas. Who knows? If it doesn't, if this time next year he's gone, or if it doesn't work, or if it's fallen apart and Kyrie's a disaster, which is very much a possibility, that could be the trigger that Luka Doncic says, you know what, I'm requesting a trade. Are you willing to go all in for Luka's tenure for Kyrie Irving? Because that's what this is if you do it. Just be aware of what the stakes are. This is not just about this year winning right now. This is about, hey, you think this can be the guy next to Luka for a few years here. You're not trading for Kyrie for 3 months of rental. You're just not going to do it. So this is it. This is the move. If you make it and it blows up, Luka will not remain in Dallas. I am pretty confident in saying that. So you got to factor that in, Nico. You got to factor that in, Mark Cuban. See what happens. It's going to be explosive. Here's more from Mark Stein. The net strategy at this point, as I reported earlier this week, has been to focus on playing out the season without extending Kyrie's contract, believing Irving likely needs a sign and trade in the summer to get another destination he likes. Kyrie's counter today was, of course, requesting the trade. And let me just say this as well. Kyrie Irving requesting a trade right now is peak Kyrie Irving. The Nets put this together with him and KD 3 years ago, and injuries and off-the-court issues and the Steve Nash experiment. It's been a disaster. The last 20 or so games, though, they've played unbelievable basketball. And guess what? Kyrie wants to request a trade. So just know what you're dealing with if you bring this guy on board. Like, he comes with a lot of baggage in addition to being a really good basketball player. Rocket Money is sponsoring today's show, and if you want to save money here in the year of 2023, look no further. Download the Rocket Money app right now, rocketmoney.com/NBA now. Are you wasting money on subscriptions? 80% of people have subscriptions that they have forgot about. Maybe for you, it's an unused Amazon Prime account or a Hulu account that never gets streamed. There's this great app that I use to help me keep track of my expenses, and because of it, I no longer waste money on subscriptions I don't even use. You might have heard of it. It's called Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. This app will show you all of your subscriptions in one place and then cancel for you whatever you don't still want. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't know you were paying for. You may even find out you've been double charged for a subscription. To cancel a subscription, all you got to do is press cancel, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. So get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money right now. Stay on top of your upcoming bills, monitor your finances, set a budget, and save money in 2023 and beyond. It's rocketmoney.com/NBA now. Check the comments, check the description, download the Rocket Money app today. Our good pal Tim McMahon of ESPN just tweeted this out saying Mavs GM Nico Harrison, a former Nike executive, and coach Jason Kidd have had long-standing relationships with Kyrie Irving. Dallas desperately needs a co-star alongside Luka. Big questions. How much are Mavs willing to give up? 2, would they make a long-term commitment? And again, I think you have to if you trade for him. Like, unless the trade is just very minor, it's like, okay, we'll just bring him on for a couple months, see how it goes. But it's a bit risky. We saw what happened with Jalen Brunson when they didn't commit to him last year. Here's the trade idea producer Coop came up with. Christian Wood, Dorian Finney-Smith, Josh Green, and a first. It's a pretty decent offer for a guy that, 6 weeks ago, no one wanted anything to do with, right? Like, that's a pretty good haul for the Nets. Now, obviously, Kyrie's easily the best player in that trade. But how much more can you really even give up if you're Dallas? I mean, do you want to throw, Tim Hardaway in there? They can have Tim Hardaway. Like, that's fine with me. But you're not trading Luka, obviously. Christian Wood's the biggest trade chip you have. Dodo as well. So, listen, it's a decent offer. I think if you trade for him, you have to sign him to an extension, as hard as that might be. But you're either all in or you're not. And that's the bottom line here. So Kyrie requesting this trade has definitely added some fireworks to this trade deadline. That felt like could have been a bit of a clunker just as recently as a couple of hours ago. I'll tell you this. If the Mavericks trade for Kyrie, we are going to break it down here on Mavericks Today with that news. So subscribe today. It's youtube.com/MavsTV. Don't miss any of it. Mavericks coverage coming at you every single day leading up to the trade deadline. Now, would the Mavs give an extension to Kyrie? Producer Coop says he wouldn't do it. I don't know if I would do it, but if you're trading for him, don't you kind of have to? Like, I don't want to, but, like, I also don't know if I really want to trade for him. And if you do, like, being half in is hard in sports. I know Kyrie's kind of the exception to every rule because as good as he is, he just comes with so much more baggage. But, man, this is interesting. Like I said, I'm conflicted. I'm not a fan of what he's done in the past. I'm not even just talking about his off-the-court antics. I look at his Boston tenure. They signed him there to be a leader for guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and he was a fraud, an absolute fraud. He pairs with Kevin Durant. He has been so fickle with his availability, not just with injuries, just with all kinds of stuff. Are you willing to put it all on the line for this guy? That's a question you got to ask yourself. How desperate are you? And the Mavs are desperate, believe me, because they know if they don't get better in the next couple of years, Luka won't stay here his whole career. He ain't Dirk. He's not going to be that loyal. He wants to win more than he wants to win with the Mavericks. Okay? So I can't wait to see how it plays out. Spam MFL in the comments down below. Coop and I got you covered here on Mavericks Today with more videos, so don't miss any of it. It's youtube.com/MavsTV.